Hello and welcome to another episode of the Electric Norwegian. Today we're out in a BYD Han. This is really wonderful. I've been saying for years that the Chinese, when they can be bothered, can make the best cars in the world. And this is an example of that, because it's a saloon, kind of an E-Class 5 Series sort of competitor. Somewhere size-wise between an S and a Model 3. But this does what Tesla can't be bothered to do. They do the traditional luxury thing. You have thick proper leather seats, comfy leather hair, you have your interior, you have a back seat, we'll have a look at that. And it's just really nice in here. And you have 500 horses and 700 Newton meters and 0 to 60 kilometers an hour in less than 4 seconds. And four-wheel drive, of course. 85 kilowatt hour or 89 kilowatt hour battery pack, I think. A range of around 500 kilometers. It's lent to me by Iris Bil in Sarpsborg. Again, they're really great guys, and we had a chat before I left now about general EVs and then about how the sales and how they, because they're a very big organization in most of Scandinavia, and as he said, well, we started with a bid tongue last year. It's been a few issues, they must have been fixed, and the company, the building right across from them is selling BMWs and Fords, and BMW can't match this. Yeah, you can get a 5 Series or you can get the 4 Series, but you can't. The 4 Series has less space than this. It probably costs more if you want all this equipment. So you're beginning to see now that the Chinese are really eating in on the traditional grounds of the European manufacturers, and they're doing it very well. So, what do you think of the car? You see, it's kind of, you think it looks a bit bland, and you do, and then you begin to see the aggressive set of the lines down here and the lights, and you have this light strip running. You can't see it here, but it runs there in the night. It looks really nice. Of course, it's a saloon, so you can't really reinvent the wheel. That's the pop-up, pop in, pop out. That Tesla sort of made the modern, and everybody came afterwards. This is the BYD thingy. They have this on several of their models. At the back, it looks a bit like a Jag in a way, with those taillights. Slightly bland, but that's okay. I think it looks very good. Indeed. And of course, it says here, BYD Tech. Here you have your small button somewhere. Where was the button? There it is. Push that and it goes up. It's a saloon and it doesn't have a hatch. It's a reasonably okay luggage space. You've used a bit of it, and you have here, they have the dynaudio on the sound, which is good. Sounds nice. And here you have your tire kit and stuff. These, of course, could have been designed more modernly. These are old. I said the same thing on the E-Class or the EQE, whatever it's called. These take up some space, but overall, decent luggage. And then, of course, we come to the reason why you buy this thing in the first place: the back seats. They're spacious. Now, remember, I'm 1.90 meters. Let's do that again, shall we? Proper decent sound in the doors here. Leather cover, slightly padded, proper materials, and here you can tilt your seats backwards and forwards. And this is a car that's around 6 65 to 70,000 euros, I think. It's an expensive car, but you get a lot of kit. Storage, screen for your here you can open and close sunroof, for instance, if you want to. You can, if things are a bit light back here, you can use sunshade like that. Closed it. You can adjust your seats. You have your heating and your ventilation. You have your media here, for instance. You can run your media controls. It's just a lot of stuff. And you have your own screen down there as well. And you can move also the seat here if you want more space for the passenger. And as you can see, it's really nicely sculpted. Under here you have your isofix and stuff. Comfortable. Look at all this space. I mean, I have long legs. I can sit comfortably behind myself now. I even have space for my head, but it's there. This is, and it's nice, proper, thick, comfortable seats. You even have a hatch here for your skis and stuff. So, yeah, okay, you can say this is a bit cheap. Yeah, but you don't touch that very often, do you? No, you rest your arm here, you plod around with the screen, you have a drink, or your soda, or whatever. Or you can, if you want, you can close it up. It's like that. Audi don't give you this in the A6, do they? Maybe they do, I don't know. I can tell you, if they do, it's going to cost a fortune. So if you spec up an Audi or a Beamer or a Merc to do something like this, I'll tell you, it's not going to cost you 65,000 euros to do it. It's going to cost a lot more than that. It has a huge screen, which gives you the most wonderful, clear picture of the surroundings when you run your backup cameras. It's really nice. But of course you can just do this. It's not quite as quick as you might think. It doesn't kick you like the Tesla does. But I'm not going to say it's slow. This was in normal mode, mind you. Now I've taken the suspension out of comfort and put it into sport. And yeah, it stiffens up a little bit. Of course, it doesn't ride like a BMW i4. That's not meant to do so either, I think. This is a sound system here, the dynaudio sound system. It sounds really nice. Is it quite on par with the Burmeister? I don't know, maybe not. But still, it's really good. Of course, like all Chinese cars, you don't have to. Like some Chinese cars, you have to run the heater a few degrees higher than you normally would, because 25 is 21 and 21 is something else. The only car that they actually haven't had this issue with is the MG. They just seem to work. Where a grade is a grade regardless. Instruments are clear, easy and simple and easy to read. Buttons are... It takes you a little bit of a while to figure out that the same buttons that runs your media also runs your dashboard screen, because it's contextual. But that's fine, when you know it, and it's okay. Yeah, I can criticize it for not having storage in the middle more than it has, and not having a frunk. But the steering wheel feels nice in the hand, it's nicely padded, it's nice materials. The top of the dashboard is slightly padded, and it's not plastic, at least not the surface material. The seats are comfortable. It's quiet in here. It's a bit of tire noise, but not very much. All the windows are double glazed. The doors have proper good sounding thunk in them when you close them and they open them. All of this is just proper quality, old school luxury like you find in a Beamer or a Merc. And it's well executed as well. It's the kind of thing I would imagine Genesis could do something like this. But we don't have a Genesis in Europe. Well, we haven't had until now. Region is well judged. It's progressive. It's actually rather strong, but not initially. So we don't feel, unlike in the Volvo, where it really annoyed me because it was too much like an on-off switch. Here you lift off and it's slightly sluggish in its initial slowdown, and then it goes more and more up. But so it never bothers you. Yeah, like I said, you have to go slightly at an angle when you get the cup in and out. So it's limited the size of cups you can fit here. Bit of a issue, small issue, but still. Of course, you have the door pockets. Oh yeah, this goes the handbrake. It's quiet. You don't notice the speed increase in the sense that the cabin gets noisier. It just doesn't. So it's well insulated, this thing. It just settles down a little bit on the rear, and then it just, you can feel the weight of it in the corners. It's I think it's 2.3 tons or something like that. Yeah, you can feel that. You turn in and it sort of wiggles a little. That wiggles. It sets down a bit on the weight on the outside of the corner, and then it just pushes through. But it can be hustled quite quickly if you want to. But it doesn't have the immediacy of the Beamer. In the sense that you can drive this car fast. There's no doubt about that. But it doesn't have the immediacy of the Beamer or the old S-Class that I drove, not S-Class, Model S that I drove. Sort of the directness of input. It's fine. You dial it back in comfort and then just enjoy the ride, really. So it's no Beamer, but it's not necessarily meant to be that either. It's a comfortable saloon that you can drive fast when you need to. You can't see this, I'm grinning now. I love fast saloon cars, I always have, and I said the Xpeng P7 reminds me of the old Audi S8. This does sort of the same thing, and maybe even more so. It has 100 horsepower more. That helps a lot. I think range-wise are about the same. I don't remember, it's been a while since I drove the P7 now, and this is also a bit bigger, I think. Maybe. Of course the P7 on the front, this doesn't. The power in this and the quiet cabin, that's never a good thing. It gets you into trouble so quickly. Oh, they can't match this. BMW can't. They can't match this. Not at the price anyway. I'm sure they can match this, but not at the price, and that's the point. If you want your Beamer or your Porsche or your whatever to do what this does with this level of equipment, look at that back seat, look at that space and the toys you have there back there. Okay, granted you can't put the rear seats down. That may be an issue, but you can bring your skis at least. At this price you just don't have any competitors. And you can't bring Tesla, because Tesla don't play this game. Tesla don't make this car. The Tesla isn't as comfortable, it isn't as quiet, it isn't as well equipped when it comes to traditional luxury. Tesla don't do traditional luxury, they never have, they never will, because they're not interested. They're going to build fabulous, wonderful, mass-produced, fast EVs. That's what they're going to do. And they do that very well. But BYD is just behind them in number of sales of electric cars. And can see why. Well, this is quick. And it's so effortlessly quick. It's just, you have 700 Newton meters of torque in this thing. That's a lot of torques, and you can sort of feel that because it really shifts. And it's still quiet in there. There's a bit of noise. But it's kind of low in the, a bit bassy. There's not much wind noise and not much tire noise at all, considering the speeds, and it's just very, very well done. It indicates 373 kilometers and 79%. This is relatively efficient as well. We're running now around 220 watt-hours per kilometer. It's not all that bad, really, considering that's over the last 50 kilometers. That's the closest I can get to a running. Well, it is a running average, so it's not that bad. Considering we had a few high-speed runs and accelerations, and yeah, and it's 3 degrees outside and slightly wet, damp roads. That's perfectly okay. This is a reference consumption of around 178 to figure out that on EV database. So there's two things I can complain on in this car. There's a lack of space in the mid-center console here, where the gear lever is. There's a bit of place on the armrest, sure, but it's going to be more. And then the lack of a frunk. That's the only two things I can complain on. I mean, okay, the rear seats can't be folded, but that's a choice. They have chosen to make the rear seats the sort of executive package of the car. In many ways, that's a really nice place to be. Okay, this isn't a long wheelbase, anything. It's not that much, but there is space back there. There's a lot of space in the back seats of this car, considering the class and the competitors it has. None of them can show quite the same amount of space. At least not in the saloon class. There's a few SUVs that can do it, but SUVs are naturally bigger in many ways, so you have more space. The lane assist here is actually, it's a little bit ping-pongy, but it's rather okay. At least it's there, like in some cars. And it's you just get it with the car, which I like, because I always said everybody should just have this as standard, because it's a safety feature and it's a comfort feature. It's more a safety feature than a comfort feature, actually. We have 56% and 255 kilometers left, and that you can easily do 300 kilometers in this car. Probably closer to 350, maybe 400 if you have if it's a little bit warmer and you don't have the high speeds. And I would imagine that the 500 kilometers I've indicated actually is fully possible to do on a summer's day. We've been running around 220 watt-hours, and it's between 2 and 4 degrees, and now the roads are dry, but they've been slightly moist and wet some parts. So yeah, I'm just impressed. I'm just, wow, really well done, the BYD Han, everybody. I always talk about more lights. See here, this is the low beam. We drive along, and then you turn your high beam up, and there's a deer or a moose or something, and you don't see that because it's just outside the range of your lights, and then that's too late. You can't stop for that animal, and you're gonna have a crash. And if you live, like for instance, we're not very far out of the city here. It's just, there's animals here, there's moose and deer and all sorts, and then you suddenly go, oh my word, or oh there, and then you crash. That's unless of course the animal runs out of the way. Deer can run out of the way. Moose on the other hand, they just normally just stop and look at you and then maybe walk away after 5 minutes or something. It depends. That's why I constantly go on and on and on and on about lights, and why you can never have enough light, particularly. But it depends on where you live. If you live like I do in the city, that drive on roads like these that are mostly lighted, or on the motorway network, it doesn't really matter, because I manage. You can say the lights in the Teslas are actually pretty good, but many people don't, or they have other, like in my work I drive all sorts of strange places, and I really wish the car I have at work had better lights, because they're crap. Very scary, because you don't see what you're doing. I've done a good deal of thinking, and you know what this is? This is very simply what the EQE should have been. It's spacious, comfortable, very well executed interior, nice materials, spacious in the back. It could have been this would make a brilliant taxi or a shuttle service car, anything like that. The EQE, I checked the prices. It's, if you want to match this on equipment, if you want to match this on the 4-wheel drive, forget it. You're probably 20,000 euros above this price instantly. It just, you can't, and you can't match the back seats anyway, so why bother? And the interior doesn't have this quality. I'm sorry, it doesn't. Yes, I know you get the hyperscreen, who cares? The materials in here and the execution is very well put together. All the tactile feel of the thing. The dynaudio sound system is good. The range is easily 300 kilometers on the winter's day, more probably as well. I drove it a long way yesterday and I didn't feel it ever really ran out. Does it have some bad sides? Yes, it should have had a frunk. P7 has a frunk, Volvo has a frunk. This should have had more storage, granted, but it is what it is. But it's decent enough. The Chinese have just kicked the Germans in their own work. That's what this is. This is China saying, we can do it just as good as you, we can do it better, we can do it at a lower price, and we can give just the same quality, and they do, and they have. And if you ask me, actually it's better, because I always felt, particularly in the EQE, that it was slightly overpriced and the interior was, it's good, but no, I'm sorry, it's trying too hard to be too smart for its own good. Let me say this. The i4 is a traditional leather and, you know, more, you know, proper one like this. But unless they have an electric 5 series, then this is, it's a family car, it's a better proposition. With the exception of maybe this doesn't have a hatch, but yeah. So the BYD Han, to be perfectly honest, it should be something special coming along to match this year. And this combination of everything it does, and it's so quiet and so powerful. This is a comfortable, not luxury, but this is a comfortable luxury car first, and then it's a sporty car second. The i4 is a sporty car that does luxury or comfort. Sort of, there is a slight distinction there, and it's just fabulous. Complain about the TFT slightly lower resolution instrument cluster, and that this screen is slightly flat looking, but it is easy to use and easy to navigate around. And I do like the way BYD has put up their user interface. So yeah, it's not much more to say really. It's not perfect, but for what it is, and for the package of what it gives you, this does not have any competitors on the market right now. Not at this price, and not at it, because this could have easily costed 10, 20, 25,000 euros more and still be worth it. Thank you to RSA Bil for lending me the car, and thank you for watching the video. I do hope you enjoyed it. Give it a thumbs up if you want, and share the video, maybe even leave a comment. And then I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye bye.